Today we're going to build some barn doors. My friends over at Rustica Hardware sent me over a bunch of barn door hardware to play with. The two major components of this system are the tracks and the hangers that roll on the tracks. The tracks are held in place by lag screws and adjustable spacers. The adjustable spacers are really cool because they let you keep your tracks straight even if your walls aren't. The hardware comes in a variety of different finishes, including stainless steel. There's also hangers that have top mounting brackets on them, so you can actually hang a typical solid core door. They also have some really cool specialty pieces like these hangers, which actually have wheels that clamp on both sides of the track so that they can't come off. Now the doors I'm going to hang on this track are fairly heavy, so I want to make sure the structure is nice and secure. I used lag screws that went through the track, through the spacers, and into a 2x4 header that was behind the drywall. At the end of the tracks I installed brakes that stop the hangers from sliding off the tracks. I'm going to make the doors out of 3/4 inch thick plywood. I had them cut the plywood to size at Home Depot. I used the hangers to mark the locations for the holes that I'd have to drill. I then bolted on the hangers and tested out the door. For the largest door, I'm just going to take a sheet of 3/4 inch plywood and paint it with chalkboard paint. Once the paint was dry, I bolted on the hangers. This first door is going to have a series of shelves and racks that I can store tools in. So I'm going to cut down some oak table legs and some 2x3s to make these. I cut some strips of plywood to wrap around the 2x3 to make a shelf. I wanted a rack that would hold all of my pliers. So I marked the width of my pliers onto one of the pieces of oak and then drilled out holes so that I could slide the pliers right in. I made a shelf by screwing pieces of plywood around the short piece of 2x3 that I cut. Now I want to screw the racks and shelves onto the first door through the back of the plywood so that these screws don't show. This is the door I was most excited about because I'm always looking for a screwdriver or a pair of pliers. And this way I'm going to have the things that I need in a pinch always out and visibly accessible at all times. It sort of serves as a mobile toolbox, but the tools are visually accessible rather than being hidden away in drawers. I hot glued on a couple magnets to hold my kiwi knife and extra blades. For the third door panel, I wanted to make a sliding bookshelf. So I cut some 2x2s and some 1x4s with my compound miter saw. Now most 2x2s are a little bit warped, so I didn't get them from the construction section of Home Depot. I actually went into the section where they keep all the pine boards, and these are a little more expensive, but they're a lot straighter and easier to work with. For the 1x4s, I picked out really nice fir ones. Again, these are very straight, they have a really nice grain. A little bit more expensive than a typical sort of rough 1x4, but definitely worth it. This hanging shelf is basically a ladder-like structure with the 1x4s on the outside to sort of hold the books in place. I screwed all the pieces together with finish screws, but I want to make sure the wood didn't split, so I pre-drilled holes for all the screws. These three doors can be used to cover different parts of my loft. I have these three sort of bays that were built into the structure. One I use for sort of an entertainment center, one for my closet, and another one as an office. And this way I can cover each section whenever I want. For more detailed instructions, go to my website. And if you want to see what I'm working on next, be sure to follow me on Instagram. The link is in the description section below. And please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already.